has been disrespected.
In what way?
Are you pressing my? Give me something
No,
now.
no, you have volume. Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, I'm done, ladies and
Your
gentlemen.
ego was disrespected. In what way?
They didn't give me my applause. They didn't give me my accolades. Thank you. Give Tega all her time. I like people like you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this.
All right, let's do this. Now we also have Dr. Rose in the building. Good morning, Dr.
Morning,
Rose.
morning. I'm excited to be here this morning. Good
Excellent.
morning.
Great to have you on the show. Thank you very much indeed. Now, if you'd like to join the conversation, please head on to our YouTube channel, youtube.com /smooth981FM Lagos. You can send in your message through that platform, or you can send a message through our WhatsApp platform, 0809 4440981. Ladies and gentlemen, let's rumble. Nigeria exact revenge on CAR to open 5-point lead. Nigeria got their revenge in a CAF, that's Central African Republic, second round 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifying match as they defeated the Central African Republic 2-0 at Stade de la Réunification in Douala on Sunday. The Super Eagles slumped to a shock 1-0 defeat against the same opponent in Lagos earlier this week, but redeemed themselves to maintain a 2-point lead atop Group C ahead of Cape Verde's match at home to Liberia later this evening.
Yeah, so it was a very fantastic match, a good redemption, it was a very good redemption for the team because the first leg was a very disappointing, very disappointing match. I mean, it was obvious that Nigeria needed to redeem herself, and they did. I'm so happy for Leon Balogun for scoring. It was good for him. It's good for his ego, good for his team, for his career going on forward. And Victor Osimhen also put up a beautiful display. I'm hoping. I mean, it's a difficult one for them now because the group is becoming tighter with just 5-point lead in between both teams. So it's now a tougher competition for them unlike what it would have been. But it's good for sports in general, and then it's also bring the criticism about Gennard Rohr, his tactics, and is really well. Let's see how Nigeria does going forward because it's really not a good. I mean, not good in general, but not so good.
I will say this for Genova. He hasn't really squeezed all the juice out of the orange. That's all we can say.
You think so?
Concerning this team, he hasn't even squeezed the juice out of the orange. Let me not say all. So if you ask me, you look at the team he has. I say this every day, and I know we don't have Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo on the team, but this team is good enough to dominate, at least in Africa, and we are not doing that. Yes, I think a lot of it has to rest on the tactics of the team. Yesterday was really pure emotion of the team just trying to get exact revenge. So you saw them come out with aggression from the start of the match. You saw Ahmed Musa trying to turn to Diego Maradona. It was even when it wasn't working, they tried to make it work. You could tell they really wanted to win in Cameroon, and they wanted to just exact that revenge. But if they came up against a team that was technically and tactically better set up, I'm not hopeful for Nigeria because again the tactics of the coach is not evident. I think he puts his players on the pitch and say, you play this position, you play this position, okay, all of you make it work. and again it's not, for me, it's not enough. He's doing the barest minimum with the team he has, and yes, I know that he's been owed salaries. Yes, he's been owed salaries.
I'm not sure we can really complain.
I don't want to completely pin that. I don't want to completely blast him, because sometimes when you have no motivation, you don't want to do the work completely. However, I don't think this is just a question of money. Tactically, it's not working together. And I think that there are some coaches that will look at this team and do a little differently and maybe a little better with the team. So yes, Roy is just doing the satisfactory thing, trying to qualify Nigeria for tournaments, but that's not who Nigeria is.
But do you feel that because some players were not available, that would have
again? I was going to say. So he mentioned in the first leg that because that he lacked the creativity of Iwobi, Wilfred Ndidi, and Etebo was not there, so he had to reset the midfield. He mentioned that, and I'm saying to him, so what? You have a strength in depth in squad, which is why tactically I say if your tactics are good, because if you know that you don't have Ndidi, you don't have Etebo, you don't have the creativity of Iwobi, then switch up your setup.
Exactly.
So what he did yesterday was he played three in the back, and then he had his two wingers move up front. So by the time they were without the ball, remember there was a time that Central African Republic was pressing Nigeria.
Yeah.
It formed the back five, and there was no space for Central African Republic to move. So if you just switch up tactics a little with what you have,
Yeah, because even in the first leg, you see that they were just confused. Everybody, the ball is played to the right. Everybody's moving
so
to the
what
right.
happens is, which is what I'm saying, that he picks up a player
left.
and says, you know what, Iwobi is not around. Can you play his position? No, he's not Iwobi. He's not Iwobi.
Yeah.
You know,
You think it's this
Iheanacho
thing
trying
they
to be a number 10 was
don't
not
know.
working.
But do you think it's this thing they keep talking about, the fact that there's no cohesion? So they just come, they have good players from different places. They don't have enough playing time. They don't have enough team.
Which
work.
country has enough playing time?
Exactly.
Okay.
France didn't have enough playing time. It's
Yeah.
the same time that they have. Everybody has the same time. But you have to know their role, or you have to know the tools you have, know the players you have, and know the players you're calling up. For instance, if you're calling up a Calvin Bassey, what is he bringing that is different? Do you understand? If you're calling up a Kevin Akpoguma, I'm calling guys that he hasn't even featured yet, and maybe won't even have the opportunity to feature because of that loss against Central African Republic. Because Cape Verde won their match against Liberia, and they're now just 2 points behind Nigeria. So it makes it an even tougher group. Ideally, if he had won this tie, if he had won this tie over the two legs, then it won't be as close as it is, and then he can try all these new players that he's brought. But you invite players based on what you think they can bring to the team, and then you use them accordingly. Not that you invite them and tell them to come and replace somebody.
All right, let's now move away from the one big match to another big match. Tyson Fury says he's greatest heavyweight of my era, that's in his words, after beating Deontay Wilder. Britain's Tyson Fury crowned himself the greatest heavyweight after retaining his WBC crown in a classic fight with Deontay Wilder. The 33-year-old stopped Wilder in the 11th round after twice being knocked down himself in a thrilling third meeting between the pair.
Yeah, really. Okay, but like I said from the beginning, this was always a Tyson Fury fight. However, the whole idea of watching a fight at 2 a.m. in the morning is so that you see the moments as they happen. And it was, I would say this was one of the most complete fights I've seen in a long time. I think the other fight that comes close to it was the Klitschko Anthony Joshua fight. In recent times, I'm not saying all of this, I mean all of boxing, but in recent times this was one of the most complete I have seen, because both boxers going at it, especially Deontay Wilder trying to protect his small fragile ego. He put up a good fight, don't get me wrong. He came into that fight, he knew that if he was able to land some good punches, he'd be able to get Tyson Fury. But what I always tell people about Tyson Fury is what he can do. Tyson Fury's jaw, you can use it to pound yam, and the yam will be soft and smooth. It is that deep. So when you knock him, just because your punch is heavy, doesn't necessarily mean you block him. Sometimes it just means that he will fall, he will stagger, but he will rise again like the Undertaker. So again, I think I was really upset with Deontay Wilder when he knocked down Tyson Fury in the 4th round, and he stood up and was bouncing like he had won the fight. It was surprising to me because in the last fight with both of them, he had knocked Tyson Fury down. Even worse, that combo was worse because it was one punch across and an uppercut. And ideally, if you look on a normal day, another boxer will sleep after that. But because Tyson Fury has a very strong jaw, he stood up, he took the punches, he stood up, and then he finished you. So if that happened in the last fight, why are you celebrating eagerly in the 4th round against Tyson Fury? Match just starts, in fact. Because that knocking down, you knocked him, because Tyson Fury fights in waves. He paces himself well, which is what I tell people about tactics. Have your tactics. He paces himself well, so he has the moments when he's coming on, then he has the moments where he's just triggering you, but he's using that time to rest. Almost like a Formula One car engine where it is harvesting its power. So he has those moments, and so the fact that you knocked him down didn't mean the fight was out, except you knocked him down and he slept, then you start to jump around. But if you knocked him down and he was still sitting and he was looking like he was going to guy, 5th round was where Deontay Wilder needed to add more pressure, apply pressure like they say on BBN, but but he didn't, and instead Tyson Fury came back in the next round. And that was where I think Tyson Fury destabilized Deontay Wilder, because when he hit him across the face, that was where Deontay Wilder's balance started to go awry.
Yeah.
He started to float like a butterfly, and he was not stinking like a bee. But for me, it was a brilliantly executed fight by Tyson Fury. And I think the only thing that kept Deontay Wilder on his feet all the way to the 11th round was pride. Because by the ninth round, he was already looking for things on the floor that nobody was sending him to look for. So it was bad. But I think his pride was just, they can't beat me this easily. But they're beating you. I mean, it was not as bad as Ifeanyi Ajagba. Ifeanyi Ajagba, they beat him like talking drum. It was not as bad as Ifeanyi Ajagba, but it was bad enough.
Yeah.
You call it pride, but I call it sportsmanship. You need to give you need to entertain people. You need to give us a good show. So
and
that's
the risk of spending one more day in the ITU.
Well, we need to see a good fight. We need money. We need to see a good entertainment for our money.
Don't
So
give
and that
us
was
5
what
rounds when we paid for like 11 or 12
exactly, and that
rounds.
was what Deontay Wilder did. It was
We paid for knockout.
It was a beautiful. I like the fact that he kept on fighting. It's good sportsmanship. You don't give up. You have to keep fighting. But that blow to the ear was where he had it like all gone.
Look,
Because I mean, ear is the organ for coordination, for
yeah.
balance. So by the time he hit him in that ear and he was already bleeding, I knew that fight was done and dusted. And by the time he hit him in the second time in that ear, he was already on the floor.
There was no. So if you, I look, people don't pay for. I know a lot of people say by the time we sit down and Mike Tyson has knocked somebody out, but it will be written KO beside Tyson's name, because the day that somebody will KO Mike Tyson, it will also be news. Look, we paid for knockout. We didn't necessarily pay for a beatdown. Knockout is good, but that thing that he gave us from the 8th or 9th round to the 11th round, that thing was a beatdown.
All right, Ken says, good morning, Tigana. The contest now should be between Tyson Fury and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Whose confidence is higher? I love the Americans, though, on how they keep promoting Wilder with how he put up a great fight, almost de-emphasizing the career-ending punch from Fury. Deontay. Hello, Deontay. Are you feeling better today? You refuse to be sportsman like after Tyson beat you the other day. How do you think others you've knocked out over time felt? Shame, Rufemi says. Oz says, Fury has a strong jaw and a very resilient mental strength. He just keeps coming. Ugo Collins says, no disrespect to CAR, but Raw can't possibly be giving excuses that we are missing key players against a country that has a population that's less than 1/4 of Lagos. A country currently in conflict. A country named Car shouldn't be beating us at home under any circumstances. I beg. And then Richard says, right, so sweet to hear your analysis, Tega. I was just looking at her.
Yes,
watching her.
story.
I want to listen to our
Yeah, we'll get to them.
So Bottas, Mercedes driver Valtteri Bottas claimed his first checkered flag of the season to win the Turkish Grand Prix on Sunday as Max Verstappen reclaimed the lead in the title race. The Red Bull driver finished second to take a 6-point lead in the championship ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who finished fifth, voicing frustration with his Mercedes team strategy.
Okay, so again, surprising that Valtteri Bottas won his first race of the season, but the talk is about Lewis Hamilton. So let's just go through the facts now. Valtteri Bottas won the race on the Turkish Grand Prix. Max Verstappen now leads the Drivers' Championship with 6 points, and Sergio Perez, the second Red Bull driver, finished third on the podium behind Max Verstappen. So it was a good weekend for Red Bull.
Yeah.
But let's get to the meat of the matter, which is Lewis Hamilton. Remember 2 weeks ago when the rain started falling? And they had told the driver to come in, and the driver told his teammate, please shut up, I want to drive. And then he went all the way from being first in the race to finishing maybe sixth or thereabout. Lewis spoke to that guy immediately after the race, and he said, my team gave me good information, and that's why I came in and I won the race. You would think that somebody with that level of wisdom will come 2 weeks after and learn his lesson. No. So they tell Lewis Hamilton, come in for new inters. Mercedes car was the fastest all weekend. So they tell Lewis Hamilton, come in for new inters. He's fourth on the grid. But if he had gone in for new inters, he would have been able to overtake Sergio Perez, who he already attempted to overtake and missed that turn. But he would have eventually done it. He would have been able to overtake Sergio Perez. He would have come closer to Max Verstappen, who was struggling with his steering wheel at some point. Yeah. And then maybe finish closer up to the front. Because he had the faster car, he now had good tires, and he was able to compete. Do you know what Lewis Hamilton told the team?
What did he tell
No,
the team?
I'm not coming in. I think we should stay out. The tires are still good.
Until the end.
And exactly.
Strategy
And
on
then,
his part.
so now he's chasing down Max Verstappen, and he's close. However, his tires are worn and they are dropping off. And so Mercedes is now afraid that, look, the tires are sliding so badly that this third position, you will not be able to hold it because Carlos Sainz is right behind you, Charles Leclerc is right behind you, and those two are on new tires, they'll overtake you. So why don't you come in now? However, they brought him in 8 laps to the end of the race. 8 laps to the end of a rainy day at the Turkish Grand Prix doesn't give you enough time to try and overtake everybody. So Lewis Hamilton went from third to fifth. Now, let me tell you what the implication of that is on the driver standing. The implication is simply that at the end of the race, if Hamilton had finished third, then he'll just be 1 point behind Verstappen. Now he's sixth. And there are only 6 races left in the calendar year. And there are 2 or 3 tracks that you can overtake. And there's no guarantee that Mercedes will still take an engine penalty. There's no guarantee. They're claiming that there is guarantee that they can finish, but there is no guarantee. So now you are fighting for what you should have been strolling across the road for. So for me, there were many mistakes made then. The first one was Lewis Hamilton not going when he was called. The second one was, if at the end of the day those tires could have lasted him to the end, because Esteban Ocon finished on those tires, then the team shouldn't have called him in. So once you take the decision at that time to stick to a particular strategy, then stick to it to the end. So what it means is that Lewis Hamilton is sulking now, but he can't sulk too much because he takes part of the blame.
Alrighty then, let's go on a break. When we come back, we have some stories to see from from football matches across our
and we have a call to make.
Yes, and we have
this new offside rule. What do you think? We'll be talking about that after the break.
Fantastic.
So that's what we are going to do. So there was a goal they scored yesterday. So France-Spain played final.
Yeah, who won?
France, of course. Who are you talking about? Like, you know the Deschamps. Anyway, I love the French team. You know how I started doing sports? I told you now.
Yes.
It was Zizou.
Okay, yeah.
And I remember that day I woke up.
You see, they say I'm looking Bosa. Exactly. Please, you should thank me for this.
You know, I woke up that morning. I remember that France lost to Italy. I also remember that Zizou collected red card for headbutting, and I refused to go into work. So I'm a French lover. It's just that there are only 2 Frenchmen I don't like.
But on the day, French had a better team.
Don't get me wrong. They played the better football.
Team.
For me, look, for me, let me tell you what it is. I said it deservedly. They won it, because they came out differently in the second half. However, that rule for me needs to be
I also fault the possession that Spain had. They had all the possession in the first half. They did not do anything with it. But in the end of the second half, see what they did. They were playing better.
As soon as they
playing purposefully, and they could do that earlier.
So for me, again, I will still say France deserves to win. However, that offside rule is a discussion for people.
And because Mbappe had a terrible match. Overrated.
No, it's not overrated. He's just having a terrible period because he's trying to prove too much. He's already a great player, but there's no need to try and prove it.
Yeah.
But he's like a Cristiano Ronaldo fan.
Yeah, like Messi.
No.
Believe in
He's a Cristiano Ronaldo fan. That's why he's overdoing.
Yeah, the truth is, yes.
Oh, he's
The
a Cristiano
truth is,
Ronaldo
you are
fan.
enough. You should tell him to I'm enough.
No, he's a Cristiano Ronaldo fanboy. He died here. They like to overdo. That's what I mean. On one
because
hand,
I was
it
even
works.
thinking I was gonna even lose that when that goal he scored. I thought
Yes,
he was gonna lose
because he had that first chance he
missed the chance before then. So I was like,
I beg.
the same thing I said.
That's his problem. His biggest problem is that he's under pressure to prove that I'm the next best thing.
Yeah, but good
Nobody's
strategy
following
by
his
the
order.
coach actually to keep him on the pitch because he was
No,
some
the
coaches would have pulled him off.
No, the
because
Deschamps that's the thing about him and management. The Deschamps did not want to call Zinedine Zidane into the team. Benzema into the team. But he looked at the form of the guy. He said, "More,
don't bring him
We're
in.
back, guys.
Apple
We're
scandal."
Yeah.
It's Smooth 98.1 Love Music, Love Life, still the locker room 981. I'm Ayo Myra Essay here with Tega Onojaife and Dr. Rose. In the words of Cruz, it says, if you know their YouTube, what you gain? The juice is flowing. Honestly, that's supposed to be halftime just like no other. Now, just before the break, we talked about the fact that we open the phone lines now. And here is the phone number to call 0144899981. That's 0144899981. Tega,
Okay, so you read the story
So,
first. Is
Karim Benzema waited more than 5 years to make his France comeback, and now the Real Madrid striker is in a hurry to win his first major trophy with Les Blues. Benzema helped France clinch the Nations League with goals in both the semi-final and in Sunday's final. But unlike his striking partners Antoine Griezmann and Kylian Mbappe, he was not in the squad that won the 2018 World Cup.
Okay, so the tournament was a fantastic tournament. And initially, when the tournament started, I mean, the National League started, everybody was wondering what kind of tournament is this in the first place. But it's brought entertaining football to people, which is
and
also
a lot of
good.
money to the UEFA, which is the
Exactly.
problem.
But to talk about the match, so the match was a match of two halves. It wasn't really, I think the goals doesn't tell the whole picture about the game. Because you had in the first half Spain having over 60 something percent possession of the game
Yeah.
of the ball and doing nothing with it, and in the second half, after the goal scored by Spain in the by Ayozabal, then you saw the comeback by France team. But I really want to give kudos to the France team. Although the second goal was a little bit contentious, many people say it was an offside, many people say it was not an offside. Should the flag be raised? Should the flag not be raised? But I really want to give France, I mean, on the day they were the better team. That's the truth.
End of discussion.
Yes.
Truth be told, on the day they were the better team, they had played a better second half.
Yeah.
And barring that chance, Mbappe had maybe two other chances that he could have scored that he didn't. He didn't. The French team played a better game. However, this is the bone of contention here, and it's a law. So legally, that goal was right. However, there is this problem. So the offside rule was made so that the striker will not have an advantage over the defense of the other team. Now, Kylian Mbappe is offside at the time his teammate passes the ball to him. But before the ball gets to him, Eric Garcia, who is the defender for Spain, touches the ball. So even if he was offside before, when the pass was made, by the time Eric Garcia touches the ball, it plays Mbappe onside. And so Mbappe takes that ball now to score the goal. My problem with this rule about it being flawed is that Mbappe still had a positional advantage over Eric Garcia because he was ahead of him. So if once he touches that ball, he still has the advantage. So my point is, if you went back to the old offside rule where as Mbappe is offside and the pass is made, the flag is raised that, hey, this guy is offside, then the play ends and it's fair. But the minute you let the play go all the way to the end, then the player still has an advantage even if it's legal. So that is what we are opening the phone lines for. The question is not should the goal be given or should it not be given. Based on the laws of the game today, the goal should be given. But my question is, should that law be reviewed?
Should that law be
Should
reviewed?
the offside rule be reviewed? That the flag should only be raised after the play or before the play?
All right, 0144899981. That's 0144899981 is the number to call. Right, Shay says, Tega, your outfit is hat trick. After Fury hit him on that ear, Wilder was hearing echoes such as Lord, 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 oh Lord, I'm coming home. Wilder should just shut up for the next 15 years. However, AJ, my fellow Nigerian, please don't near Tyson Fury.
I beg, don't near him at all.
Right, let's take some phone calls. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Hello. Good morning. This is Ibukun from Yaba.
All right, Ibukun from Yaba. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I think there is nothing wrong with the rule because what used to happen in the past was that the play would be stopped, and then when you see video evidence, you see that the guy was actually onside, which means you disqualified the guy from a legitimate opportunity of scoring a goal. I think the real issue is, should we interpret or allow the interpretation that once the ball hits the defender, it puts the guy back onside? That's the bit I have a problem with. Because as Tegan pointed out, he still has an advantage. He was offside when the pass was made. He hits a defender. How does that hitting the defender or touching the defender
bring him back?
Remove him from being offside? He still has the advantage.
All right.
That's the issue.
All right. Thank you very much, Ibukun. Let's take some more calls. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? All right. Call us back. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Yes, sir. What's your name, please? Where are you calling from? Ronson, welcome.
Okay. For me, you said it was a controversial one when I listened to some journalists that I really respected today this morning. There's no controversy about the goal. In fact, Madrid's earlier match in La Liga this season against the Levante of Valencia, a goal is similar to happen. It was supposed to be offside, but he could of Lucas Vasquez or Alaba. And it was a goal.
All right.
Okay, yes, we have come to live with it. So I don't think there's nothing you say go. I thought it was an offside before. Until I know it's ricochet off Eric Garcia. So it's normal for me, it's normal.
All right, Ronson.
Ronson, he didn't get the question.
Thank you.
Ronson, the question the question really was, should we review the rule? We didn't argue whether it was a goal or not a goal. We know it's a goal according to the law. We are saying, should the law be reviewed?
Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from, please? Eze from Ojo, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Last night when I saw the game, I was like, wow, this is not fair. For crying out loud, I think Mbappe was in an offside position. So because he was in an offside position, he now implicated the defender, someone who is in an offside position already, I think the flag should have gone off. Because just like when you're scoring a goal and you are in an offside position and you're obstructing the keeper, the goal will be ruled out. But in this case, he was in an offside position and Eric Garcia made the tackle because how could someone in an offside position implicate someone that was like, the guy was trying to clear the ball, not knowing that Mbappe was in an offside position already. So it's like, I think that rule they should change the rule because Mbappe, who is in an offside position, make Eric Garcia make that tackle because he was like trying to prevent the ball getting to Mbappe.
All right.
Offside position already. So it's like, how could they even kind of let that rule stand? It's like, it's not fair.
All right. Thank you so very much. Thank
Is
you.
it really getting the program? Let's take another one from
Ugo Collins.
WhatsApp. Yeah.
WhatsApp. Ugo Collins says, what I think about the offside rule is that when a player is offside before an opposing player intercepts a pass from his teammate, then he should be offside. But if a player is offside and an opposing player passes back to, say, the goalkeeper, and then the player takes the ball to go ahead and score, then he should be adjudged not to be offside.
Okay, Ugo, I like the way your rule is. You should be working for this. Yes, now for IFAB. We'll recommend you.
Olabode says the rule should stay. Sometimes the ball is for the other player who is onside. All right. Thank you all very much indeed for your comments and for everyone who's been a part of the show.
And those that have been trying to call, I'm so sorry. We can't take all your calls, but thank you for trying to call us.
Thank you. We've had such a great conversation today. Good show. All right. Thank you. Ugo is happy that you gave him recommendation. Thank you for the recommendation. Thank you, Dr. Rose. Thank you, Tega. You can find Tega at Tega Supreme on all social media platforms and the great work she does with ladies in sports at LIS International. Follow us at Smooth981 and follow me at Ayomairo SC on all social media platforms. Stay tuned for some great music. In 15 minutes, we have some guests coming in to give us some important information. Do stay tuned.
This is Gold Swagger on Smooth.
Sorry. Let me go.
Thank
and
you.
turn on YouTube.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. It was good. It was very good.